Hello again. I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to speak about the power of imagination, which is a very handy thing to harness if you're making big changes in your life, as so many of you are. It's a truly wonderful thing, imagination. We all have it, though some folks seem to be much better at using it than others. And children certainly seem to have it in spades, and I think perhaps to some degree we lose that facility as we get older. Children don't have the same restraints or constraints, and they just are able to let their imagination fly. And often they want you to play shops and there's no actual goods, are they? And you're sort of having to mime everything, but they're absolutely totally in the moment and believe it all. My mother used to tell me that I had an imaginary companion when I was little, before I had either of my brothers, so perhaps I was a bit lonely. And apparently I called her Miss Jones, and she was very handy because if anybody wanted to sit next to me at a dinner table when I didn't particularly want that person to sit next to me, I used to say, well, you can't sit there because Miss Jones is there. So I sometimes wish I'd had a Miss Jones through life, but I expect some of you have had similar experiences as a child. Now, many psychologists believe that our imaginations are helpful no matter what age we are, because they help us to sample possible future scenarios in our minds. And this lifts us out of the present reality and its constraints and frees us up to picture something else. So that's quite a useful thing to remember, I believe. Many people who've lost a lot of weight, and that will include some of you, find themselves more able to tackle new challenges with different attitudes and different fitness. And using your imagination as you contemplate fresh challenges and changes, I think could help you a great deal. So suppose you want to move house. Try visualizing yourself in that new place. Are you in a flat? Are you in a house? Are you in a country location? Are you in a town? Don't let your imagination be constrained by your bank balance. Just let it fly and see what you feel. What it may give you is a sense of what is working for you or what you really want and what you don't. Maybe you're thinking of going for a different job, whether that's a paid job or a volunteer position. Many people, as we get older, we take on voluntary roles, don't we? And we find ourselves then doing things that we never believed would be possible. So if you fancy doing something different, perhaps it would be a good idea first to use your power of imagination to visualize yourself in that new role. How do you look? How confident are you? What's your hair like? What are you wearing? Is there anything about you that doesn't fit the picture? Could you change that? You see, particularly with volunteering, this can lead to all sorts of things. I mean, I've got a friend who used to volunteer in a political party locally, and within about 2 or 3 years, she was mayor of the town. So all sorts of things can happen. And it very often helps if you visualize yourself first in that new situation. By the way, when we do use our imagination, sometimes, particularly like, your weight thing isn't going quite so well, we have a stumbling block. And as we're imagining, we go, oh, I can't ever be that person. I'm frailer than other people. I'm no good. I'm bound to fail. I'm not as effective as others. You get all these spiraling, very negative thoughts, which can really damage your self-esteem and stop you doing things that you're perfectly capable of doing. If that happens, stop the imagining, write down these spiraling thoughts, and then give them a rating according to what you truly believe is the evidence. Do I fail more than most people? Well, not really. So you might give it, that's a 30% true. It's not 100%. Am I not as good as at other things as at things like talking as other people? Well, maybe I'm not as good as other people, but I'm 50% good. So just stop and give yourself a little reality check about these spiraling thoughts that are trying to stop your imagination helping you. When you've done that, go back to the imagination, because it's very powerful and very useful. Recently, I read about a study which demonstrates this. It was carried out at Basel University in Switzerland, where a group of very stressed students were asked to imagine that they had a super effective anti-anxiety pill at their disposal. And this was in the run-up to very important exams. They were encouraged to visualize the pill in its pack and then to take it out of the pack. Was it smooth? Was it round? Was it shiny? Look at it, focus on its color, and then they had to picture themselves popping it into their mouth and then getting that sense of, oh, I've taken the pill, oh, I think I'm calming down already, that sort of thing. Now, they were asked to do this in the run-up to exams for about 3 weeks, twice daily. Meanwhile, there was a control group who were equally stressed, but they weren't on this strategy at all. At the end of the exam period, the group who had simply visualized taking anti-stress medication performed significantly better than the control group who had not imagined anything. Now, this is quite fascinating, isn't it? Because we've heard stories, I'm sure, of people taking placebo pills, believing that they're on a study maybe to help their migraine or whatever, but they actually had a pill to follow. It was full of nothing or nothing effective or important, but they still had an actual pill to swallow. But this takes it one step further. So they had no pill and they imagined it, and even then, though it was all imagination, they actually did better in their exams. This really shows how powerful imagination can be. So I hope you can harness this power that we all have and work on it, and it may well help you with your weight loss program and indeed in other aspects of your life. See you soon.